Good morning. Welcome to Creative View. And this week we're going to build something that we can use next month because there's a special time coming up, and it's called Mother's Day. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a Mother's Day tray so that you can take your mom breakfast in bed, or you can bring it to her for lunch. But I've made all of this out of scrap wood that I've had laying around my garage. So today we're going to take and do some cutting, some nailing, and some screwing, and some sanding. So if you're ready, let me show you what to do to get ready to cut. Because I don't have a table saw, what I'm using is just my table workbench. So to make a cut or saw, I need to make sure that I can clamp what I'm going to cut. I need to cut it really tight to something so it doesn't slide around. So I take these clamps, I make sure that they're really tight so that this doesn't slide around, all right? Now, if you're gonna use a saw of any kind, it's a power saw, you make sure you've got an adult with you that can supervise you. But you can be the creative one and make it the way you ever wanna make it. When we're going to saw, there's two things we wanna make sure we've got: a pair of safety glasses and a mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the cut. I'm going to do it with my power saw. So there's going to be some noise, but we'll get through it. You want to cut slowly to make sure you're cutting straight. Is done, and now blow the dust off of my glasses. Now we're going to get ready to assemble the tray. After we've cut, we want to make sure that we're sanding down the edges lightly. The reason we do that, we want to make sure or be as safe as possible so we're not getting a whole bunch of splinters on our hands. Does that make sense? Because they hurt. So I'm going to undo the clamps. And now I'm going to look and I'm going to go, yeah, it looks like it's ready to have some sides put on. These are the tray edges. And that's going to keep, so if you've got something on it, and you take it, hey mom, look what I've got, it doesn't slide off and fall on her. It stays on the tray. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble two more sides or one more side, depending on how much time we've got. And then I'll tell you what you can do to finish it up to make it look nice for mom. Now what we're going to do, we're going to attach the sides to the tray. The first thing that we do is we take some wood glue. You can get this at Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware or your local hardware store. And we're going to take and we're going to spread glue on it. Now one of the things you want to do to cut down from the glue squishing out all over the place and get better coverage is take your finger and just smooth it out a little bit. Wipe your finger on a rag and you put this down on the edge. Now what I already did was I already drilled the hole and I countersunk them so that when the screw goes in, the screw isn't going to show. Take my drill and we take the screw, start it, make sure that everything's lined up. There we go. 1, 2 screws. Okay, those hold that side on. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go do the other side, the other end. We line them up on the edge. What we do is make sure we run our finger along the edge to make sure this is right up against the edge of our tray. Okay, we talked about finishing your tray and we talked about sanding it. And there's two ways to do it. You can do it with a sanding tool, a power tool, or you can do it with your hand. Power tool, it's gonna be noisy. And after you put the wood putty in it, all the joints, the screw holes and like that will never show. And if you want to really get fancy, which what I will probably do with this one, and this is important because you can really get hurt with one, is a router. If you've got your dad around or your uncle or your cousin Phil and he's 20, you can take a router and you can round off these edges. And then either way, you can get a pair of tray handles at Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace or whatever, and you can put them here, and that way when you take it into mom, it really looks professional. But this is a way to show mom you really care about her.